Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, October the 30th. A powerful storm system is impacting the Mid-Atlantic region this morning and the northeastern part of the nation with some strong winds and some heavy rainfall. There certainly can be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity as well. This whole system pushes off to the north and east, and in its wake there will be some very strong winds on Friday throughout the Mid-Atlantic, throughout the northeast U.S. with gusts out of the west to northwest on Friday up to 45 miles per hour or so. And the winds today in the mid-Atlantic and northeast U.S. can reach 40 to 45 miles per hour or so. They will be more or less out of the east to southeast. And again, there is a chance for some strong to severe thunderstorm activity over the next several hours. It could impact places like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, Cape May, and the whole Delmarva Peninsula region. Before we get to look at the continental U.S. Pattern here, let's talk again about Hurricane Melissa. Remains a hurricane this morning as a Category 2 storm. It has gone to the north and east of the Bahama Islands. This is the latest official storm track by NOAA's Hurricane Center. It will bypass Bermuda late tonight, early tomorrow, maybe just to the west, still as a hurricane, and then continue on a track to the north and east and maintaining strength even all the way into the early part of the upcoming weekend by this time as a weak hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane. Then it moves out into the North Atlantic, moves rather slowly for a mid to high latitude tropical cyclone here, and it'll actually end up kind of looping around. We'll take a quick look at that in a moment here because it will have an interesting impact with respect to snowfall in places like eastern part of Greenland over the days. All part of the overall plan by Mother Nature to distribute heat from the tropics all the way up to the mid and high latitudes. In this case, it is going to bring some snow to some of the higher latitude locations, specifically the eastern part of Greenland. Well, in fact, let's take a look here. I have the North America view from last night's 0-0 run of the GFS. Just want to kind of focus in on Melissa. Then we'll get into the powerful storm system now impacting the Mid-Atlantic region. Here is the forecast map from last night's run 4 early this morning of Melissa. Still a hurricane, in fact, still Category 2 hurricane with maximum sustained winds at 105 miles per hour as we begin the day here on Thursday. Just watch the movement here. It bypasses Bermuda and then moves on out into the open waters of the North Atlantic. Not all that fast for kind of a high latitude tropical system. Here is Greenland right here. This system ends up tending to kind of loop back around. You notice it starts to turn to the north and west, and it certainly throws in some moisture into the eastern part of Greenland here. You can see the blues here showing up as snow. This is later this weekend going into the early part of next week, and it really kind of stalls out, rotates around. This is Iceland up here, Greenland over here, and these places are particularly important to me this time of the year. If you like cold air in the eastern part of the U.S. for the upcoming winter, you would like to see snow buildup to the north here, northern Canada, Greenland, Iceland. That certainly increases the chance for cold air to deepen over the late fall and the winter season. Here we go, all the way out into Tuesday of next week, rotating around. Again, this is the remnant of Hurricane Melissa by this time, and we certainly will have an impact in terms of some snowfall all the way out to the middle part of next week. Now, how much snow? Let's take a look. This is the forecast map going all the way out a week to next Thursday, November the 6th, and here we go. Some significant snow here over the eastern part of Greenland. Again, a good part of that is as a result of moisture from what will remain of Hurricane Melissa. Once it goes into the North Atlantic, it tends to kind of loop back around and has an impact on Greenland. Well, let's get back to the continental U.S. In this case, we're kind of focusing on the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. We've been talking about the potential for a powerful storm system. Whether or not Melissa stayed off the coast, there looked like a week ago that we'd have a strong storm system impacting places like the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. And here is the radar from this morning. Some heavy rain, some strong winds all the way from D.C. to Baltimore to Philadelphia into New York City. And it's kind of tending to rotate around a surface low right out here over the Ohio Valley. You can see a rotation of the radar echoes right around that surface low. And this is helping to fuel some increasing ocean moisture from a southeasterly wind, and it's turning a little bit milder today in the I-95 corridor region with those southeast winds. Temperatures this afternoon probably well up in the 60s in places like D.C., Baltimore, maybe Philadelphia, the low to mid-60s this afternoon, again with that southeasterly flow of air out ahead of that surface storm, which is now located over the Ohio Valley. The reason I bring that up, that increase in temperatures, for example, will help to destabilize the atmosphere. This could result in some strong to severe thunderstorm activity in this I-95 corridor region and to the coast during the latter part of the morning, the midday hours. So watch for possible strong to severe thunderstorms to form right in this region. Much of this activity winds down, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line later this afternoon, certainly overnight tonight. The storm system pulls up to the north and east. Skies should tend to clear in the Mid-Atlantic region, all to be followed by very windy conditions on Friday, Halloween Day, with gusts throughout this area up to 45 miles per hour or so. Well, let's now walk through the forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. This is the 500 millibar height anomalies, a deep upper level trough centered this morning over the Tennessee Valley, right over the eastern part of Kentucky is the location of that upper air low. Here is the reflection of 500 millibars of Hurricane Melissa. Again, still a hurricane, and in this case, still Category 2, which was early yesterday morning. Move forward here in time. This whole system slides up to the north and east, and by midday on Friday, it's centered over northern part of New England. On the backside, there'll be very windy conditions to follow in the Mid-Atlantic region in the northeast U.S. Wind gusts tomorrow in D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City could be 40 to 45 miles per hour or so. There is kind of a secondary wave of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. It dives to the south and east, but it looks like it will not then turn around as this one did and push all the way to the north and east. It looks like it'll be somewhat suppressed by higher pressure to the north so that it slides off the southeast U.S. coastline and does not come up the coast. Earlier in the week, it looked like that had a chance to produce a storm system that will bring another round of decent rainfall to the Mid-Atlantic region, let's say around Tuesday of next week. Does not look like that right now. Looks like this will tend to be suppressed in its movement to the north and instead will slide from the southeastern states to the western part of the Atlantic. Now let's look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. And the month of November begins on Saturday, and it certainly will get off to a colder than normal start across much of the eastern half of the nation. This is as we begin the day here on Thursday. A lot of colder than normal air associated with this deep upper level trough, and it slides to the east. And here we go, midday on Friday, Halloween Day here, colder than normal across much of the eastern 2/3 of the nation, and those colder than normal conditions start the month of November. This is the forecast map for Saturday morning, November the 1st. Lots of colder than normal air across the eastern 2/3 of the nation, really from the front range of the Rockies to the eastern seaboard. The west, warmer than normal conditions out across the western states, all the way from California and Arizona up to Montana and Washington. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. Here's that surface low supported by a powerful jet streak in the upper part of the atmosphere, that same jet streak that was over the northern Pacific Ocean a week ago has helped to spawn this strong storm system, again bringing significant rainfall to the Mid-Atlantic and the northeast U.S. Here is Hurricane Melissa at the surface level here as of Thursday morning. This whole system pushes up to the north and east. Again, skies should start to clear overnight tonight in the Mid-Atlantic region. Here we go into the day on Friday. Take a look at the isobar pattern right here. It's a tight isobar pattern. Isobars are lines of equal pressure. The tighter these lines, the stronger the winds. They tend to flow parallel to the isobars, and this is a strong west to northwest flow of air on Friday, Halloween Day, certainly capable of reaching, let's say, 45 miles per hour or so. D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City, a very windy day to end the work week. Happens to be Halloween Day. We'll go out a little bit farther in time here. Again, very tight pressure gradient between this departing strong low, 977 millibar low, and the incoming high out here, 1025 millibar high. A lot of wind tomorrow and tomorrow night into the Mid-Atlantic, into the Northeast and New England as well here. We'll go out a little bit farther in time. This is midday on Friday. Then we go into the Friday night time period. Isobar pattern still very tight over New England and over Nova Scotia as well. Then we get into the midday on Saturday, and it looks like basically dry, cool conditions. Still quite breezy on Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region, but general theme for the upcoming weekend, dry and cool in the Mid-Atlantic region. Probably high temperatures in the mid to upper 50s in most spots of the Mid-Atlantic region on both Saturday and Sunday. And here we get to the second half of the weekend, and that final short wave in the upper atmosphere sets off some rain down across the south central states, but instead of turning around and moving off to the north and east, it looks like it'll kind of be suppressed in its northward movement and end up moving off the Carolina coastline instead of coming up the coast. This is the forecast map all the way out a week from right now to next Thursday. So it's still several days away here, and something we'll monitor. A few days ago, it looked like this system would, in fact, move all the way up into the northeastern part of the nation. Now it's a little less likely, but several days away, something will follow. So a powerful storm continues to impact the Mid-Atlantic region today, the northeast U.S., New England, lots of heavy rain, strong winds, maybe strong to severe thunderstorm activity as well. All of that will be followed by very windy conditions on Friday with wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour or so. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.